Gloria that I was short-tempered. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. A Chat with Glendora was on Cablevision in Long Island on a very large system. It was over 400,000 subscribers. And it was Nassau County and also Huntington and Babylon and Islip. It went over the Nassau line into Suffolk. And A Chat with Glendora started up there along about the summer of 1993. And I was doing a feature on Scott Lord, who was an underground lawn sprinkler contractor. And he had stiffed me. I had made his commercial for the CBS Morning News in New York, Channel 2. And instead of paying me the $5,000, he let his checks bounce. And so I went after him in the bankruptcy court, and I tracked him down for years. And I reported what was happening in the Long Island Consumer Affairs Department. Mr. James Picken was the Commissioner of Consumer Affairs, and Mr. Galata was the county executive. And I was reporting this blow by blow exactly as it happened. And on November the 12th, Friday of the year 1993, Thomas Garger, who was the head of public access programming for Cablevision corporate that included Long Island, called. And this is what Mr. Garger said.
Good afternoon, 9495.
Hi, Glenny.
Hello there. Good afternoon, 9495.
Hi, Glendora. Tom Garger here from down in Long Island.
Hi, Tom. How are you?
Well, I've had better days, to be honest with you.
Yeah, what was wrong with the
Well, I was
conference?
in meetings today, and I had to call you because I don't have good news.
Oh, bad.
Yes. I have to call you to tell you that the executives in the company sat down and reviewed your program,
Uh-huh.
and I have to take it off the air.
Uh-huh. Why is that?
Well, what they're saying is that the public access is not really a place for someone to talk specifically about their individual difficulties with another party, and that the subject material is not pertinent to the general subscriber population of the system. And that's what they told me.
Okay, now who is they?
Well, it came from my boss, the general manager of Long Island, but I believe
What's his name, Tom?
Joe Aznara.
What is it?
Joe Aznara.
Aznara?
Yeah.
Aznara.
Azzanara. But I believe he got his directive from corporate.
And who would that be in corporate?
I don't know, probably the legal department or Bill Quinn or somebody like that.
Bill Quinn?
Yeah, I don't really know, but I'm just saying I know it came down from corporate.
Uh-huh. When did you get this word?
About 3:30.
About 3:30 this afternoon, and you got it by telephone?
No, I was called over there. I was meeting with Joe Aznara about other things, and then that was one of the things he brought up to me.
Oh, you went up to Westbury?
Woodbury.
Woodbury.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things he brought up.
Yeah, amongst other things. But
And how much time did he spend on it?
I don't know, 10 minutes or so.
Mm-hmm. Do you know when he got the decision?
No, I don't.
You don't know how long he had it before he told you?
Just had caught the program a couple of times, a couple of weeks back, and it had...
What's that?
I know that some of the executives in corporate had caught the program a couple of weeks back, and it sparked some conversation, but then that was the last I heard of it until he called me down there.
And you heard that a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, I think third or fourth show that somebody,
Well, okay, so what are they going to do?
Well, they just told me to not air it starting tonight. And
With no notice at all, right?
right.
With no notice at all. He told you that today?
Yeah.
At 3:30. He told you at 6.5 hours before
It was a little earlier than that. Might have been like 1:30 or so, but it was around that time. I was in.
And he gave no notice at all. And he didn't put anything in writing. Right.
Right.
Right. He hadn't put anything in writing. He hadn't,
I haven't seen anything in writing from anybody.
And apparently he doesn't know about censorship and about public access and how you can't rule on the content of a program unless it's obscene or those other two things.
Yeah, I don't know how much he knows or not, but I know he got the directive from somebody else. So.
Yeah, and he doesn't identify who somebody else is, right?
Just corporate.
Just corporate?
Yeah.
And then without any hearing the other side at all, he's without any notice, he's canceling the cable casting of the program tonight. What is this number?
Just call the general numbers 364-8450 and ask for him.
Well, that must come as quite a disappointment to you.
Well, I mean, it's stranger things have happened, but I didn't really expect it, to be honest with you.
Is he ever worried about lawsuits on the First Amendment, freedom of speech?
Cablevision is always worried about lawsuits, but, I don't know.
To whom does he report?
Somebody in corporate, I don't know. I don't know who he directs me.
Well, it looks to me like somebody put pressure on them.
It could be, I don't know.
It looks to me like the people who are involved in this situation have put pressure on them and they have buckled.
That could be. I really don't have any. I really know.
And it is being very questionably and inadequately handled. You just don't do things like that. It's bad enough to even question the freedom of expression. That's bad enough in itself. But to do it in such a sloppy way. The number A being nothing in writing. Nothing in writing. And B, no notice. And C, of course, no substantiation. D, no rebuttal.
Yeah.
And F, or rather E, not hearing the other side. In other words, I had no say in the matter.
Right. I know what you're saying.
Yeah, no say in the matter. It's just unbelievable that 8 hours before the cable cast, I should be told that it's not going on. Now, this might be Consumer Affairs. It might be who went to Galata. It might be Galata. But I would say that they're really in for trouble, real trouble, millions of dollars worth of trouble. Did Azara ask you to get back to him after you talk to me?
No.
Did Azara really, did he seem to realize what the consequences might be?
To be honest with you, I think, he was just kind of passing the word along, you know what I mean?
Okay.
We discussed it briefly, but...
Now, I'll tell you another thing that's bad about it, Tom, is that the people who made the decision did not take the responsibility of informing me.
Well, that happens a lot. That happens to companies all the time, you know what I mean?
Well, that's pretty bad. Whether it happens a lot or not, it's very bad. Their reason for censorship is not even valid. I say again that the reason for public access, or one big part of it, is to inform the public, which this series is doing, and to stimulate public debate. Now, I say it might be Glendora. That's giving them the benefit of the doubt. It also might be the mafia or organized crime.
I don't know. I can't even comment on anything because it's really,
Mm-hmm. Who you say that? What's his name? With the funny name? Charles Dolan's partner. What's his name? He's pretty much out of it now. He's in retirement. Who is running the company? Well, first of all...
Charles Dolm's still around and running the company more or less.
Well, not according to what Charles tells me. Charles says to me, quote, unquote, Glendora, I don't make those decisions. No, I can't address you with it.
With what, like
Well, with my protest to this. I can't address you with my protest.
Well, you could, but I really couldn't answer it very well.
No, I can't address you with my protest because, as you have said to me right now this afternoon, that there's nothing you can do about it, so I can't address you. Because it's like lobbying in tennis. You can't. I can't return the ball. And then Azara, apparently I can't address him because he seems to have no say. So I have to get to the bottom of it. And you say you don't know who is at the bottom of it.
It came from corporate.
And certainly Azara isn't at the bottom of it. So we've got to find out who made this decision. Now, this is another bad thing. Nobody is taking any responsibility for it. So I imagine you will have to tell Azara what I am saying, but that's not going to do any good. It's going to go back. and it will be all washed out by the time it gets to the top, where the decision was made, this wrong decision. So as I look at it, having heard about this 5 minutes ago, it looks like maybe don't bother with any of them. Just go ahead to federal court and sue them for millions of dollars, because this is a matter of civil rights. You just don't go and call up somebody and say you don't like the contents of the program, not in public access, and stop it. No, you just don't do that. Because it is out-and-out censorship. Those are very big cases. I've seen them in I see them in federal court all the time. Oh, they're awfully big. They're terribly big. So it comes down to this. What can you do about it?
Me personally, nothing.
Yeah, that's it. And your call comes to me at, something like 4:56 p.m., right?
Yeah, something around there.
About when you call me the end of the week, the end of the day, and the end of the week, which is another very bad thing. And you can't tell me who's running the company, huh?
I mean, I really don't know,
There's a joke about that. There's a joke about that. The guy says we get new management in our company if we could only find out who's running it now.
I'm sure that's the case in a lot of companies.
So there's no further information you can give me.
No.
All right. I'll whether you do this or not, I'm going to put a demand before you that you get back to Mr. Azara and you tell him what I said, and that this is totally unacceptable and it's very dangerous. And I strongly warn him, and this is a warning, I warn him to reconsider. As to how much time I'll give him, not that he is the person.
Well, then he'll pass that on to whoever.
Yeah, and as to how much time I will give to reverse this, and I do mean reverse it, because it's an outrageous thing to do. I don't know how much time I'll give them. I just don't know. Okay. Anything else?
That's all I can think of for now. Well, actually, yeah, I'm sorry. I got to cancel your edit for Tuesday, too, because you're not a resident of this system.
Who said that?
That was just part of the whole deal.
Did Azara say that, too?
No, that's... My interpretation is that if we're not running the show, the other rule is like you can't use the facilities unless you are yourself a resident of the system, if you live on the system.
Now, who made that decision? You?
I just did, yeah. I'm covering myself, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
If the show comes back, it's perfectly acceptable if you come back and use the facilities, but until it comes back, I just got to cover my ass, too. Excuse me, I didn't mean to say that, but you know what I mean.
If show comes back, can edit.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, okay. This is really, another lawsuit that I didn't want. I really didn't want it, but a person just cannot sit back and have his rights violated.
No, I understand you.
Yeah. As I've said in other places, I don't know if you've ever heard me say it or read that I said it, but my ancestors gave their lives. It was no joke. They gave their lives for these rights. So, if you want to get back to Azara and
we'll get back to him and
you know, I mean tonight.
yeah, I'll try to give him a call.
And that I really wouldn't do. I wouldn't take that show off the air tonight.
If
But
he says anything different, I'll call you back. If he,
yeah, and now
I can't.
yeah, but I would get back to them and tell them they are in serious trouble. In worse trouble than Scott Lord. Because, well, I'll give you another piece of substantiation, whether it's relevant or not. But the Scott Lord story has, as you're well aware, has been on other cable systems. Okay? To wit, Manhattan Cable TV, Paragon Manhattan Cable TV, TCI, the biggest cable company in the country, and I can't think of whether it's been on Cablevision in Harrison and Port Chester. I just can't. I'd have to go back and look it up.
Yeah, Bernie's area, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bernie.
By the way, speaking of Bernie, that came to my mind too. Have you talked to him about it?
No.
Okay. Well, I would. I think there's an emergency nature about this. I think there's an urgency, I guess would be a better word, an urgency about this.
I will try to get him.
Yeah, I really would if I were you. Now, just to tell you, I will be here.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not going to go out again, so I will be right here.
Alrighty. If I can get him and I hear anything different, I will give you a buzz.
Okay.
All right.
Yes. How are you doing?
All right. Stay a little cold, but other than that.
Yeah. How was your training on sexual harassment?
Fine.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, Glendora. Sorry.
All right. Yes. Thank you for that.
Okay.
I know that this certainly isn't pleasant for you.
No, it's not.
No, it's very unpleasant for you. What is your travel schedule for next week? What's your in schedule?
Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday I'm mostly in. Monday and Friday I'm mostly on meetings and stuff.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in, and Monday and Friday meetings.
Right.
Okay. Looks like I'm going to have to do some library research. I don't know when I'll call Mr. Dolm about this, but I certainly will.
I figured you probably would.
Oh yeah. You know, I talk to Charles Dolm regularly. In fact, I think I talked to him last week, maybe 3-4 days ago. All righty.
Ready?
Yeah. Now I'm going to tell you a joke.
Okay.
Okay. It was a special joke I had. And it's below, about 6 miles below here. Let me see if I can remember it. Oh, yeah. The little boy came home from school, and he had all A's on his report card. And his father says, well, he must get his intelligence from me. And his mother said, he must. I still have mine. Okay, Tom.
All righty, Glendora.
All right. Take care.
All righty.
Bye.
So what happened after the phone call?
Well,
That's pretty bad. Darn.
this
Darn,
is
darn,
Glendora
darn.
talking to Glendora.
Okay, the time is 5:12 p.m. That call came in at about 4:55 p.m. It was Tom Garger with the news that there would be no cable cast tonight. With some very, very bad reasons and some very bad consequences and bad retaliation. The date 1993, Friday.
Well, of course, after that, I went to the law libraries, and I started looking up the law. And it was overwhelming, but I certainly knew what my case was, that it was, at that time, I wasn't knowledgeable enough to articulate it as editorial control. And back in those days, the FCC was a whole lot different than it is now, and a whole lot more competent. And I had the insight from above to call the FCC, and fortunately a young man answered, and I told him what they had done. And he says, look up United States Code, Title 47, Section 521 et sec. He says, look up 531E. I went back to the library and I looked it up, and there articulated was everything I needed. No cable operator shall exercise editorial control over public access. And that's exactly what they had done, and I had the record. They took the program off of the TV out of editorial control. So they knew. I wrote then to Judge Bryant, who has just died within the month, last month, and I said, by Rule 60B, Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, I wanted to ask for a change of his order, or a new order. He had dismissed my case, and I wanted to, on the basis of new evidence. And I told him what the new evidence was, and that just staggered him, because you see, obviously, there was nothing he could do. They had broken the law. And so Bryant ran as fast as he could, and he wouldn't acknowledge that law. And he's a federal judge, Charles Bryant. And so since he wouldn't do anything, I appealed it in the United States Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit in Manhattan. And Bryant lied. He actually lied. He said, I appealed it on a different day than I did, and I had the record on the day that I appealed it. So here's how Bryant got out of it. He says, if it's in the Second Circuit, he says, I no longer have jurisdiction over the case, which is another lie. And that's how he got out of it. And so I fought it through the Second Circuit. And it took a long time. And the Second Circuit ruled in my favor and told Bryant to reverse his decision. They remanded it to him and told him to reverse it. Well, Ryan had no choice. But erstwhile, I sued Cablevision, Dolm. By the way, the name is Azanara, Joseph Azanara. He has since fallen from grace. And I sued them in the Supreme Court, State of New York, County of Westchester. And I sued Colfault, who was the non-Dolan, the highest non-Dolan employee. And that judge, Donald Silverman, ruled, very interesting, that plaintiff had a right to be on cable TV and must be returned to cable TV. And that was the end.